Welcome to Mindbox, a platform for renewed imagination. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating explainer based on the teachings of GI, founder of the Growth Circle. We're going to be exploring the invisible forces that are literally shaping your daily life, your goals, and honestly, your ultimate potential. So let's just dive right into this. Have you ever wondered why a hot cup of tea naturally gets cold? Or, why a perfectly clean room inexplicably gathers dust just days later? It's not just bad luck. And it's definitely not a coincidence. There's actually a universal principle at play behind all these everyday frustrations. G realized he was facing this exact problem in his own life. He tells this incredible story about a time when a cleaner, who had worked for him for a long time, came up to him. She told him that his home used to feel like it had this vibrant 100-degree fire in its atmosphere. But recently, she said that temperature had completely dwindled to a mere 55 degrees. His neglected personal and spiritual routines had caused a literal, noticeable drop in his environmental energy. He had lost his degrees, and he realized right then he had to actively conquer them back. And this brilliantly illustrates GI's core philosophy. The Earth is a highly logical place, governed by invisible, totally unsentimental laws. Take gravity, for instance. It doesn't care who you are. If you jump, it pulls you down, right? But human logic discovered the law of aerodynamics, which actually counters gravity and allows us to fly. So just as aerodynamics counters gravity, there are specific logical laws we can harness to counter life's natural downward pull. Which brings us to Section 1, the hidden force of entropy. To take control of our lives and learn how to fly, so to speak, we first have to understand this invisible antagonist that's constantly working against our goals. GI defines entropy not just as some abstract physics concept, but as the universal resistance that actively causes your finances, your relationships, and your motivation to decay if you just leave them unattended. Basically, entropy is the degree of disorder in a system. It's the law of life that explains why, if left totally unchecked, things always become more complicated and chaotic. Simply put, if you don't actively maintain your life, entropy is the natural tax that ensures things break down. It's exactly why that hot tea gets cold. It's why relationships start to struggle after the honeymoon phase, because love isn't just a feeling. It requires real effort. Otherwise, entropy decays it. GI also identifies this profound sense of frustration that hits us when our daily energy is wasted. Think about it. You wake up with fresh energy, but if you don't direct it towards your goals and instead just, say, passively scroll on your phone, that unused energy is transmuted straight into deep frustration by entropy. And GI warns that the absolute most dangerous form of this decay is mental entropy. Nobody becomes wise naturally, guys. The default setting of the human mind without good input is actually decline. Mental entropy kicks in when we stop reading, when we stop actively learning and rely entirely on passively scrolling through comment sections for our information. If you don't intentionally stretch your thoughts, your mind simply becomes weaker over time. Moving on to Section 2, your purpose is to grow. So, if the world naturally pulls us towards decay and stagnation, what exactly is our purpose here? Why are we even fighting this force? Well, GI uses this truly beautiful metaphor to explain our presence on Earth. We are all born as seeds, just bursting with potential. A seed is small, easily ignored, but it represents the lower limit of what you can be. Our fundamental purpose on this Earth is to grow into our upper limit, a massive, intimidating tree that people can no longer just hold in their hands. Because growth just for the sake of growth without a function is what GA actually calls a cancer. Every single cell in your body has a function. Therefore, the essence of your life is growth. The essence of that growth is expression, kind of like a tree producing fruit or branches. And the ultimate essence of expression, that's service. You are growing and expressing your unique talents specifically to serve others. According to GI, when you finally direct your growth into serving others, you naturally generate these three powerful outcomes. You bring glory to God, you generate immense goodwill, actually making people believe in humanity and love again, and you contribute undeniable practical value to society. It's a real game changer. Let's look at Section 3, Action, the antidote to decay. Knowing our purpose is great, obviously, but we are still left with the big question. How do we actually combat the entropy that's constantly trying to stop us from growing into that tree? The crucial point here is that if entropy is the disease, the law of action is the cure. Passivity and drifting, they actually partner with entropy to pull you down. But GI teaches that true dominion over your life fundamentally requires consistent, deliberate action. Dominion means action backed by research and knowledge. Without action, decay absolutely wins. To take real action, GI strongly advises against drifting or constantly multitasking. Multitasking just disperses your energy. He suggests instead that we focus our energy on deep work. Shut off your phone, close yourself off from distractions for a dedicated block of time, and focus entirely on the task at hand. This stops your precious daily energy from just dissipating into the environment and basically guarantees you make actual, tangible progress. That leads us right into Section 4, Practical Steps for Dominion. Let's look at exactly how we can apply this law to our daily lives to guarantee we don't fall victim to stagnation. What does this look like tonight, right before you go to bed? GI insists that to conquer your degrees, you must master your time with this exact sequence. T-minus 2 hours before bed, put your phone and digital devices entirely in another room. Then, at T-minus 1.5 hours, mentally reflect on how you spent your day. Did you let entropy win? Next, at T-minus 1 hour, draft a written, physical to-do list for tomorrow. Finally, at T-minus 0 minutes, go to sleep actively pondering a specific problem you need to solve. If you follow this routine, you will wake up with fresh ideas and incredible energy. And to highlight why you absolutely must follow this exact routine, GI uses his own phone number as an example. Having the right digits means absolutely nothing if the sequence is wrong, right? I mean, if you mix up the last two numbers, you are talking to a completely different person. Logic dictates that the sequence produces the actual result. So when applying these practical steps to combat entropy, doing them in the correct sequence is literally paramount to your success. Finally, Section 5, claim your unique value. Taking these actions and building these routines isn't just about personal success or, checking boxes on a list. It's deeply tied to your inherent worth in this world. GI shares a totally breathtaking perspective on this. Things derive value from human attention and presence. That means the Earth derives its collective value from human presence. You are an inherent value giver. The world is valuable specifically because you are here, adding your unique thoughts and actions to it. Your unique contribution is desperately needed, and if you hide, the whole system misses out. The really beautiful thing is, you don't need to change everything overnight. Look at a massive, heavy door. It is swung entirely by a small hinge. As GI points out with this powerful quote, small hinges swing big doors. Tiny, consistent, daily actions, like putting your phone away before bed and writing a simple to-do list, will eventually swing the massive doors of your upper potential. So I leave you with this final thought from GI to truly reflect on. The universe already has a built-in force called entropy that is actively trying to pull you down and cause your dreams to decay. So why on earth would you partner with it by holding yourself back? Stop scheduling your own demise. Step up, implement the law of action, and start pushing back. Welcome to join the Growth Circle through conquering degrees by following our Instagram handle @allgrowthcircle and link in bio.